Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to Coach's Corner East on Wednesday, 15th of September. So glad to have you aboard, and we're going to be talking football again tonight with Galion, Colonel Crawford, and Crestline as we finish up week 4, getting ready for week 5, the halfway point of the high school football season. Our show is brought to you in part tonight by the Burkhart family at the Burkhart Farm Center, your Case IH dealer, straight west of Galion on the Manette New Winchester Road. Mike Kleinite at Ag Credit Residential Lending, Bucyrus, Mount Gilead, and Marion, and Sweet Baby Ray Jones at Ohio Door and Sash, 120 South Street in Galion. Coming up on tonight's show a little later, we're going to have a couple of assistant coaches from Crestline filling in for Johnny King tonight in the Crestline Bulldogs. It'll be Gary Wright and Chris Landon. We expect Ryan Teglovic and the Colonel Crawford Eagles to talk about a tough loss to Cary. He'll be up a little bit later as well, and we'll kick the show off as we do each and every week with the Galion Tiger football program and head coach Matt Dick. The show is brought to you in part by Lee Plymouth and Brad Seibert at the Plymouth Insurance Group, Galion and Bucyrus, North Central State College, Mansfield, and the Crawford Success Center, North Walnut Street across from the courthouse in Bucyrus. Phil and Sue Schreck at Phil's Deli just east of the Pizza Hut here in Galion at the Bridge. And we kick it off with head football coach at Galion, Matt Dick. And Coach, welcome aboard. 4 weeks down, and we head into week 5, the halfway point, and you're going to celebrate for a short time a victory over, arguably, when I've talked to the kids, we did it this summer, they said River Valley was one of the biggest rivals that you had, and you got a big win. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Anytime you get a win versus River Valley, it's a good season, and it's always a great game, and those kids and their coaches do a great job over there. We got a lot of respect for them. It was a great, hard-hitting game. You
defeat the Vikings 42-25. You're now 3-1, and once again, Hanif Donaldson, a big numbers game. 50 carries, 309 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6.2 yards per carry. Is there ever any concern with you as the head coach or your offensive staff to say, man, we're running this guy too much. We don't want to empty the tank in week 4. We want to have something for him late in the year. Is that even come across?
You know, it didn't on Friday. I think just how he was running and how the hits were going, and we're mixing in Sam Wegson and Cooper a little bit. So we had nice rotation. But yeah, I'd love to reduce his number. 50 is a lot of carries, but he was having a lot of 5 and 10 yard gainers, and it wasn't like he was taking a bunch of pounding. And I think when you see him on Saturday morning, the next day, that's when you get to see. I've seen kids. We've gone at different places. Many playoff games where kids can barely walk the next day, and our team, when you're playing River Valley, it's amazing how you wake up the next day and you're fresh after a win. He looked great on Saturday, and he's had a good week of practice. So I don't like the number, but I think he handled it well. And if we're having that much success, we'll keep blending them and hopefully get that number down a little bit.
You made a comment in the Galion Inquirer. The plan is to challenge Hanif Donaldson to be the best player in the MOAC. When he does that, we can compete for a championship. And certainly, he did have great numbers. But talk about your offensive line, your big offensive line that are pushing people out of the way to make holes for him and your other running backs as well.
I think we have a young offensive line, and the technique stuff, even an inside run this week, we are really on them about the little steps, the lean left, lean right stuff. It's real little details that we're trying to get them to execute at a high level in fast-paced situations in practice, and it is tough. And I can tell you, our sophomores and our juniors are coming around. Our seniors have been pretty good all along, but those sophomores and juniors, those little details, it's not the nastiness or the strength or the ability to do it. It's just those little fundamentals. We keep pushing on them, and I think, before last week, it just dawned on me that we're a better zone team than we are anything else. And I think we ran inside zone probably 60 times on Friday night. It makes a big difference when something's clicking that you can execute over and over again. And we were sound on it, but we still weren't great. Our technique can get so much better, and even the running backs, even Hanif, who ran the ball 50 times and probably 45 of them were inside zone. He's got a lot of room to grow there. And I know that sounds crazy for a kid that rushed for 309 or whatever he rushed for, but there's a lot of room for growth. So we just challenged our kids to take that next step. And then all the things we can complement with that zone play, a little boot off the backside or maybe a pop pass or something like that. Just finding ways to make the offense really grow from that. And, I'm excited where our offense is. And we practice a lot of other stuff other inside zone, but until we need it, we're not going to use it.
Sure, that makes sense. River Valley opened the scoring really quick, just 21 seconds into the game. Quarterback Caden Shadone hit Parker Davis for a 38-yard pass. And was there any kind of situation where you're thinking, or maybe you saw in your players' eyes that, oh, crap, we're going to be for our hands full? Or did they really, even though it was that quick, did they kind of settle down?
I think when they scored 2 plays, it opened your eyes way up. But, the bottom line is every team has a game plan going in. And when you get hit in the mouth, you have to decide you're going to stick with that game plan, you're going to switch something else. And I'll be honest with you, I was all in on seeing if our O-line could gel and click and get zone going as good as I kind of saw it the week before. And wow, did those linemen do it. Now, like I said, the fundamentals aren't perfect yet. Our steps aren't perfect yet. There's a lot of room for growth. But on the same note, they blocked their guy for at least 2 or 3 yards. That allowed, some creases for Sam and Anif to hit it up in there. And then those guys are pretty special runners and got the last 5 to 6 extra yards. Wait till they clean up those fundamentals. It's going to be clean for 5 yards, and then Anif's going to run for 30.
Yeah, good. We talked last week about Caden Shadone, the quarterback at River Valley, and just their offense in general. You knew they were going to be high-powered, and sure enough, he showed it in the first half. 13 of 19 for 195 yards, but you still led 21-18 at half. Shadone finished 18 of 35 for 267, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Grant Butler had 4 catches for 118 yards. But, when I was looking over the statistics, this is so glaring to me. You didn't really outgain them by a lot, 398 to 342, but 387 of your of the 398 were on the ground. You were just 1 of 2 passing. You ran 70 offensive plays to their 46, and time of possession, 36 minutes for Galion, 11 minutes for River Valley. And as we talked before we even went on the air, when you can keep it on the ground, you can do a lot of really good things, like wearing down the defensive line. You control the line of scrimmage. You don't turn it over. The clock's running. A lot of good things, and that's what you did.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's hard to do that type of offense when you're down, but when you're in a dogfight and you can keep the other teams, most of their best players are offensive weapons, and if we keep them off the field and playing DB on defense, that's a real advantage for us, and we executed perfectly, and our O-line played great, our running backs played great, and then our defense, they're timely. You got to give their credit, their quarterback and their receivers are really, really special athletes, and you're going to see that throughout the whole season. I expect that offense to look great most weeks, but if you can control the ball on the ground, it's gonna hurt them in time of possession. It's gonna give you a chance to.
It appears that your team got more disciplined in the fact that you had no penalties. How proud were you of all of them to not have any hankies on the field for anything that they did, any infractions?
Yeah, especially the O-line, and I think that inside run play helps our O-line because not so much grabbing. It comes right at you downhill. That helps, and we've definitely, it's a point of emphasis. We've worked in practice. We've been throwing flags in practice, talking about not turning guys. I think when you're big and strong and you're about to lose a block, it's so easy to yank them back. And sometimes you just got to let it go and take the 3-yard gain and move on to the next play.
And one of your final comments in the Galion Inquirer, I think we played smoother offense, and that makes a great impact on the whole game. Our defense always plays great. And they showed up again, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of young linebackers, but we got some veteran guys in the DB a little bit, and we got some D linemen that have been around a little bit. So we play great defense. I'm excited always to watch our defense play, and the different formations and adjustments we make on defense is really second to none. And we're going to put our kids in good positions, and then they fly around and they make plays. They're good kids.
Very good. Take a break here before we talk to the student athletes around the table. Our show is brought to you in part by Steve Kursman and Associates at Innovative Recycling, 352 South Street in Galion. Candy Bolin of Bolin Realty, 2 blocks west of the Uptown Galion Square, and John Cross at Cross Carpet and Custom Floors, 302 North Seltzer Street, downtown Crestline. We're going to start out, we have 2 juniors, 2 sophomores here tonight. Connor Ganshorn is here first. Hi, Connor, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Really well, thank you. What position on the team this year?
Safety and wide receiver.
Safety and wide receiver. Do you have a preference, one side of the ball or the other?
Defense.
You like defense. Why is that?
I just like to hit people.
That's a good thing. Coach has talked about, it seems week after week after week, how excited he is about that defense. Talk about how, you say you like that side of the ball better, the pride that you guys have of shutting offenses down. You got a high-powered offense like River Valley coming in, and yeah, they got 25 points, but really, compared to what they could have done, how pleased were you with the overall defensive performance?
I think they're great. We did what we had. I don't got much to say.
Is it hard to stop a defense or stop an offense that just throws and throws and throws and throws, especially as a defensive back? That puts a lot of pressure on you guys, doesn't it?
Yes, especially since we are having just one man back instead of both. We have more of just one man covering all deep, more guys running deep.
So you're kind of on an island then.
Yeah, almost.
Does that intimidate you a little bit, or are you at peace with that?
I'm at peace with it. It's easy for me. I mean, I got short legs, but they move quick.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. All you got to do is make up the ground and get there. Well, good luck this week against Marion Harding. That should be a great game. I appreciate you coming out. Next up, we have Santos Clark. Hi, Santos. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing fine, thanks. And you're a junior as well. What position on the team?
Play nose guard and offensive line.
Okay. And your line is just doing tremendous things. When you can run 70 plays, when you can eat up that much clock, how special is it to be a part of a group of young guys, as Coach has said, for the most part, and doing really good things and just controlling the line of scrimmage? How does that feel?
I feel amazing. It's all about mental. It's all about thinking, play fast, play nasty. This is really great. Our offensive line is doing super great and really amazing. You have the feeling. This is
Yeah,
great.
as those games go on and you start imposing your will on the other team's defensive line, can you kind of see the letdown in them that they're just saying, we can't stop it? It just keeps coming like a wildfire and we have no answer. Can you see that in the other team's eyes that they're just at a loss? What's that feel like when you see that?
Feels scary. The other team is scary of offensive line. Our offensive line is really good this year. They're playing nasty, they're playing fast. And I love it.
I love that term nasty. And you mean that in a nice way. It's not like you're doing nasty things physically,
No.
but when you get after it
Yeah.
and
Pull
sustain
effort.
blocks, yeah, it's great. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on being part of a great line.
Thank
Continue
you.
to learn, continue to grow, and you got room for growth to get better throughout the year. Continued success for you.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Thanks for coming out. Holden Hunter is with us. He's a sophomore. Hi, Holden.
Hi, how are you?
Really good. How is yourself?
I'm doing well.
Good. And offensive line, defensive line?
Yeah, right guard, mostly.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. And you're getting a significant amount of playing time on that line? Or?
Yeah.
And how's that been? Because you were, as Coach said, you're kind of a young group, but it's all kind of making sense now, starting to come together.
We're starting to gel. It's coming together. Start getting more gap sound and be nasty, play low, and kick butt.
Yeah, it's all about pad level. Every line coach will say the lowest guy wins, right?
Yeah.
Is that starting to make more sense? Is it coming around that you guys are figuring this out and you're getting after it?
Yeah, we just move those big guys around the trenches with the center of gravity, move them around, make holes for Neef to run touchdowns. It's our job. We love doing it.
Where is the growth potential yet for this group?
I mean, we still have to grow in zone. Still have bad steps sometimes. Still need man schemes. Pretty much just come together more. Overall, just more well-round our game.
When you're in the huddle and you're starting to wear on other teams like you did River Valley, I mean, is it just business-like, or are you guys kind of saying, guys, we're rolling right now, let's just stay after it?
We're strictly business. It just gets us fired up when we see him just give up. It just gets us going.
Good. Well, continued success. Keep the train rolling. And you got a big one with Marion Harding. Hopefully you get a win out of that. Thanks for coming out. And finally, Caleb Grouchowski, a sophomore. Hi, Caleb. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really well. Position on the team?
I'm a defensive end and a right tackle.
Okay. Do you have a preference, one side of the ball or the other?
Mostly defense because I like hitting.
Yeah. And are you asked to blitz very much, or are you more of a contain, or it just depends on the situation?
It kind of depends on the situation. Like if a linebacker blitzes in on the outside, I would have to go in. Or if he blitzes like the B gap, I have to go out and contain.
Now, you got that Chase Young speed off the corner yet, or still working on that?
Still working.
Yeah. All right. And are you getting much varsity time, or is it
No, not really.
JV at this point?
Yeah.
How's that group doing? How's your JV team doing?
We're pretty good right now. I think we're doing 200.
Okay. Where do you have to improve personally, maybe to get some more snaps on the varsity level?
Just being more talented and skilled wise, being faster and stronger.
Does it help you when you see the first team offense and you see guys like this that are on the line? Does that help you get better in practice?
Because I usually go against them.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine so. Well, good luck to you, and hopefully you'll get some time in yet this year and get some great experience. But it sounds like you're doing great things on the JV squad as well, so I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
You bet. We'll take a break here and come back and we'll talk to Coach about week 5 and Marion Harding. We'll do that in just a moment. We're brought to you by Terry Gribble and Associates at your Galion Community Center, YMCA. Dr. Erica Schieber at Bucyrus Veterinary Service, 222 West Mary Street in Bucyrus. Rod Steiger and Associates at Pizza Hut here in Galion and Bucyrus, our host since 1992. And a big shout out to Lou Ann Krebs at River's Edge Embroidery, Screen Printing and Signs. She is the sponsor of our brand new foam board t-shirts that have not only Davy Jones, but I made the back of the shirt this year. Harper Boggs was kind enough to draw a sketch of me, and I am now on the back of that shirt. So look around, you'll see them, and hopefully we'll be giving those away very, very soon. Back to the microphone we go. Head football coach at Galion High School, it's Matt Dick. And Coach, your guys are excited. They can hear the passion. I can hear the passion in their voice. They like to hit people. They like to dominate people. And you're going to need that going south to Marion, a team that has probably a lot of skilled athletes. You're playing on turf. That's going to accentuate not only what Marion does, but what you guys do as well. You get guys in open space on a little faster track. That should help you. Demetrius Ross is their coach, or a Division II, which helps you from a playoff standpoint if you can beat them. And they fell to 2-2 kind of ironically last week. They were going in at 2-1. They had a very nice halftime lead on Pleasant, who was winless at the time, 24-7. And then they ended up losing the game 27-24. What fell apart when you look at the film? What fell apart in the second half for the Prexies of Marion Harding?
Yeah, I just think Pleasant started to get some gel on their offensive line, run the ball, a little more off tackle, outside toss. And I think they just wore down Marion Harding and beat them up in the fourth quarter.
They are averaging about 23 points a game, but giving up 24 points a game. Pretty balanced from that standpoint, if that can be balanced. And I did look, I didn't have the week 4 statistics, but through 3 weeks, their quarterback, Brady Wink, was third in the MOAC in passing, 49 of 96 for 732 yards, 51% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Maybe not with Caden Shadone of River Valley, but still formidable. Their wide receiver, Trinity Keith, 146 yards of receiving, and Rashawn Turner is leading the MOAC in sacks. He had 5 through 3. What is your biggest concern with them on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, they're just explosive. I mean, defense and offense, super explosive. You know, they could go 3 and out, and then their next 3 plays could all be touchdowns. That they have that explosive ability. When they run their crossing routes, guys will catch the ball, let's say 5 yards deep, and then take it to the house. So they definitely have that explosive on offense. The quarterback is nifty, moves around well in the pocket, has good vision downfield. You're right, he's probably not quite the River Valley kid, but he's a pretty good quarterback for high school, especially for his size. He really can sling it. Defensively, their D-line, just out of the blue, boom, one of them will make a huge play in the backfield. And it's hard to run the ball when you're 2nd and 15. And they did a great job versus Marion Pleasant, versus Newark, versus Mansfield Senior even, of getting penetration and making those big plays on their D-line. And sometimes the outside linebacker blitzing. But I think that's kind of how their defense lives and dies as well, those explosive plays. If you can take care of those and always get some positive gainers, I think good things can happen. But they are explosive.
Do your kids kind of like playing on turf, or they like the grass of that they normally play on at home, or does it really not make a difference to them?
You know, I don't think it matters to our kids, but I like playing on a clean surface, you know, whatever that is. And a lot of the fields in MOAC are really, really well taken care of and well managed. And Marion is really second to none. It's a fun place to play.
Very good. Well, we expect a really good game. It's an opportunity for you to go 4-1 halfway through the season. That, I mean, certainly 5-0 would be ideal, but where you're at right now, kind of where you thought you would be, or is it kind of unknown right now?
You know, I think the season's been a little different than I thought it would go, but I would say this, I really like how the season's been laid out. It seems like we've had the right tests at the right time, and even when, you know, maybe we come up a little short, our kids' responses and our coaches' responses have been great, and I think we've continued to grow, and I think, you know, whether you're 10-0 or you're 5-5 or 2-8, you know, you're trying to find that way to overachieve. And with this group, it just seems like the sky's the limit, so it's fun. We got a lot of sophomores out there playing, but we have a good senior class and some juniors that are mixing in well, giving us some leadership. And it's just fun to watch this team grow, and it'll be interesting to see how far we can take them through Game 10 and see if we can stay healthy and do something really special.
Very good. Galion Tigers heading to Marion Harding this week, week 5, looking to go 4-1. Good luck to all of you, and thanks for coming out tonight. Certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.